Hello lovely people, welcome back. I just want to show you, sorry for the noise, I want to show you a better way to build. Now if you haven't seen any of my videos, this is my base design. It's proven to be very useful. Like, I've been raided twice and it's still here. And when I say raided, I mean that I survived the raid, so that it was a raid attempt. I mean, the base is still here, so obviously I lost some stuff, but not like I have. The thing is, what I use loot rooms. Now, the most people that build a base, they build like 2x2, right? So let's turn this in a 2x2, right? So they put a 2x2 here, and then they go like this, and this, and then they put a door here. And let's say that's like a sheet metal door, or it could even be like an armored double door, garage door, whatever. Now, and then they build out the base, becomes bigger and bigger, and eventually there's some way out of the base, and then they go boom outside, and then you have to go through like a bunch of doors to get there. And then they armored their inner core. That's like actually what this, there used to be a base here, somebody built a base here, and he had like this block exactly like this, and it was completely armored. And then he had like, and this was also a door, and it's kind of like this. So you can go through the garage doors, you have to go through lots of garage doors. This is probably more than he had actually. I think with him you had to go through the roof and stuff, and anyway, you ended up inside inside here after a couple of doors, and then here more doors. Now you can make this armored, and it will, but I mean, there are two ways of using your armored. One is forcing people to take a certain route. Now that's useful. And the other way is to actually protect your loot. So what do I mean by actually protecting your loot? I will show you for a second. I'm sorry for the noise. So this is what I mean. Like if you look here in the back, you see armored and they're armored. Now this is a block, just like the block, the stone block you just saw. Just one block with all sides armored. Maybe I should show you guys what's in there. Maybe that would make more sense. I don't have. Yeah, I'll grab my stuff later. Okay. I'll show you guys what's inside. Just give me a second. So you know what I'm talking about. And this is kind of like, you see here I have like a couple of bags here. I have some loot rooms, a TC, and a loot here. Now let's show the TC room. It's pretty much the loot rooms are the same as the TC, but the TC has the TC in it. Now I kept this really simple because I don't want people to raid my TC, you know. I can put all the best stuff in here, or I can put that's actually what you can do. There's no problem with that. Or you could like change it up and move things over to like other you can have more than one loot room, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's totally possible. Let me see what this is. Do I have any more high call? Anyway, so you get an idea of what a loot room look like. So you can see the top is armored, all the sides are armored, and it sets you back about, it's like 25 for each wall and 13 for the roof. So it's a bit less than like 150 to get a whole that completely armored. Now you see my upkeep is 50. Normally you start out with like about 18 if you just have one of these squares. Now I have two of them, and actually my base is a bit bigger than normal. So I mean, here you can see it's like 17%. And then it has two of those armored loot rooms, and maybe another like armored little ceiling somewhere. So it's 50 high qual. The other base I just showed you that this guy had, I saw it, and it was like his TC, or when I put the TC in his like decayed base, it was 234 high qual, and believe me, like basically, like his, and that was only to funnel people through his doors. Like nobody's gonna go through Armored if there is a door here. If there's a door here instead of this Dropbox and it's a garage door, that's 2c4. The wall is 8c4, right? That's 4 times higher. So why would anybody actually go through? So the only way when you do that, when you put armored walls up and then put a door in it, you're only saying, well, you cannot go through my walls. It probably, but you can go through my door for cheap, and then you just go through my base, take out all the doors, and then when you come around the door here where my TC is, then it's only 2c4 to my TC. Now it's still, now they go through all my base and they come here and then they have to go through this wall, and which is HC4. I'll just get to my TC, and which is, I don't know, do you think this is worth HC4? I don't know, like I don't see any gunpowder in here, like you see some high qual. This high qual is gonna be used up and put into my base when they blow up this. Lots of metal and high qual is gonna go into the base to keep it going for another day or something. So like 100 or 200, I don't know, like at least 100 high qual is going to be removed. So they keep, maybe they get like 100 high qual from that. And you see, I don't think this is worth like HC4, now I can show you my other one, maybe not smart, but because I'm, the month's still not over, but my other one, it's still on the, now, so there's the thing, like it's smart to have a bed, so you can use the bed to, and also actually I should put down a couple of, normally I have some bags in this area, but and nowadays they decay. If they're too far away they decay, so you have to put down new ones. So I've run out of them, and this one is that little square that I showed you. So yeah, let's just use the bed for now. So yeah, that's kind of like, so I have this was the TC room I showed you, the only one Dropbox. Actually I didn't put the second one in because I want to show people that raid me that it's not a serious area for me. It's only my TC, and of course, like if they raid me, it's bad. But if they take my TC, and there's not even anything good in them, it's only gonna take a lot of resources for them to take that, and then and I might, so might as well show them that maybe it might not be worth it. So this is another loot room. There is some stuff in there. But yeah, I used up all my, I've learned, like I have to learn all my stuff again. So all I've been doing is just learning all the weapons and all the stuff and using all the scrap for that. And then the high quality went into these areas. So, and you can see I don't have like really like incredible gear. So I can tell you now that HC4 is not gonna be, they're gonna regret using HC4 on this one. If they do. So actually I'm raiding them because they're losing valuable C4 on a raid that's not worth it, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's look at, so how do I build bases, because it's one thing to show you how not to do it. So this is basically the whole thing is like funnel people through lots of doors, and then the armored walls, if this were armored walls, I mean, look at how many there are. There are 1, 2, there's like 8 armored walls. You need 8 foundations. You need 8 roofs. So, 4 roofs and 4 foundations. Sorry. So that's a lot of high qual, but it has less security than my one of my loot rooms, because basically they can just go through a garage door or something, and a few more garage doors, and then they get all the loot inside here. And basically this is the same price as 3 of those loot rooms that I have, so now how would you do that? How would you actually go about that? So let's get rid of some of the stuff here, because it's well, yeah, I can keep that one. But no. Okay, so it's not that different from I don't actually need this one. I don't actually, that could be a triangle. Oh, that's been there too long probably. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, you can only, it was an old one. Okay, so that could be a triangle. I have a triangle here in the back, but it's in the water. So basically, to really cheaply do this, I just honeycomb this block, yeah, and then I put now people will expect here to be garage door. They want to go through these walls, so I would say honeycomb. You could honeycomb this. On this side it's not possible here. You can honeycomb it. You know, you can. How hard it becomes harder to build. Anyway, so yeah, you can honeycomb that if you want later on, but you don't need to do it. Just start with one honeycomb like this. Honeycomb on the top. You know, let me see. I can reach it now. So honeycomb on top, and just build. And then build the base. The basics of the base is just very simple. It's like 3 squares. 1 square here, 1 square here, 1 by 3. That's what you build. Actually, you could do this like this too. You could put a door here and here, whatever you want. And then the thing is that you have to think about rockets. So if this is a vault, and this is going to be high qual, if I would like here, like if I would use this square here and build a vault here, they could just rocket this. So let's say this was a vault, they can just rocket both of the walls. So there need to be a distance between this armored vault and the next one. So if I want to build the next armored vault, it has to be like this distance, or I could even use this distance. Make it a bit, at least a few, some spaces away from this one. You know, you can even put it here, but then it's like if once they go through the doors, they're like already very close to you. Just to make it a bit harder, let them go through a few more doors, you know. So yeah. Anyway, so you can do a loot room here, a loot room there, a loot room here, and then you could have like a loot room here and a loot room there. You know, you could have multiple of these loot rooms. If you're like in a clan even, you could have like 10 or 20 loot rooms, and each loot room would be 8c4. Any loot room could contain anything. Like you could have one of 10 or 20 loot rooms have like all your C4, all your rockets, all your stuff. So they have a 1 in 20 chance to go to attack the right loot room. Now, like I said, like this build, this big base, what used to be here, which was 234 high quality a day. Now that's like about 10-20%, like let's say it's like 20%. So he probably spent he spent over 1,000 high qual on building all of that. And basically you can have he could have, for the same amount of high qual that he used, to have only like an area that was completely accessible through garage doors. He could have had 3 of these like vaults. I call them vaults. I mean, basically they're like bunker design, but only that you never break. I mean you can break. I don't understand why people think it's easy just to break. You have to break an armored wall every day. But yeah, maybe you can even mix it up with like that if you're used to doing bunkers. This is my way to do a bunker. It's just like I kill myself, go inside the area, and then go outside. I mean, you could put lots of sleeping bags in the area, and you can put beds inside your base. It's not that hard to go in and out of these bunkers, and if you time it right, and if you know that, like, oh, this bunker we always put all our gunpowder in this bunker. This bunker we put all our weapons in this bunker. This bunker we put out our sets and all our gear. Now, once you need something, let's say you need you're gonna go on a raid and you need like you need your boom booms. You just go in the boom boom room and don't make it too obvious that that is the boom. Don't put a sign there, boom boom room. You know, just everybody knows that's the boom room. One or two people can go in there, they grab the stuff and put it through the drop boxes. You can put up to 4 drop boxes here. Let's say 1 to take things inside, and then 4 to take 3 to take things outside. You can even use the sides if you want for more drop boxes, if that's accessible. So, and then you can just grab stuff from the drop boxes when they need it and go on a raid or something. So, I mean, so if you have, there will be like each wall is like 8c4, and then you have to go through your base, you have to go through all your stuff, and then to actually get any of your loot rooms, in the end, they still, for each loot room that you have, they have to use 8c4 just to get into the room, instead of like 2c4 for a door, you know. So that's a huge difference. And you're probably using armored walls anyway, but you're using it for the sides. So you have this side wall being armored, and then the bottom is armored, and the top is armored, and the only thing that's not armored is here, this location where you have a door. And now it's easy access. You open the door, you get your stuff, and you go away. And it means that people cannot raid you easily from the sides. But what doesn't matter if the obvious way to raid you is is cheap, you know, a lot cheaper than the sides. While you can make it even more expensive, because if you have to go through garage doors and then end up at an armored wall, you're like, oh no, I just wasted so much stuff going through all this garage door, expecting there to be like another garage door, and now I find out that he doesn't use garage doors, he uses armored walls, and you see that there's 1, 2, 3, there are 3, 4, 5, there are all these areas that have armored walls with drop boxes, and you know, which one should I take, and like how much the cost of, like you say, well, basically an armored wall is the same as 4 garage doors, is 3 times more expensive. So what if it's like going through 3 more garage doors? Sure, you can say that, but that's what I said. What if you have another of those loot rooms that is like not too close by, so they cannot rocket? Don't put them next to each other. Put them a bit further away. You can put one even here, or you put them one here or there, and just let them. They are forced to use C4. They cannot rocket it. There are no discounts on doing it, and so that's gonna add up, because that's 3 extra doors for this one, 3 extra doors for that one, 3 extra doors for that one. That's a lot of extra stuff, you know, that you have to go through to, and that's gonna add up. And if they calculated, well, it's gonna be so many doors, blah blah blah, and they calculated to raid your base, let's say with 20 C4, and now they found out it's 48 C4 or something. They have to give up the raid, because where are they gonna get an extra 20 C4 if they don't have it lying around already, you know? So and that's what happened with my other base here, the base that I have now. It's just a solo base. It only has like the 2 loot rooms right now. I could do even more, but I'm just a bit too lazy actually to make it bigger. I know this is already pretty, and that's the thing. The base design is efficient. It's really efficient. I think I showed you already the TC. It's only 50 high qual for 2 armored loot rooms. There's one below here. You see it's honeycombed, and there's one below this one here. Now, is it impossible to raid? No, of course not. It's absolutely. You can go through metal. You can go to armored, and you go to stone, but the thing is that it adds up. And then you want to, and they probably start with the doors. It just adds up, and and you can even scale this if you're a bigger clan. If you want more protection, you can even scale this. Like I said, like I showed you, like you can make extensions like an octopus or like a snake. Just build your base further on. Now this one is going to be hard to build on because I kind of locked it in, But you can, or you can build a secondary base. That's what I'm trying to do here. Like this guy, when his base was destroyed, or like when he abandoned it, it decayed. And I thought, well, there was a little armored. There was, yeah, this is armored. You can see there was a little armored piece over, and I thought, well, why not? Why waste 50 high qual? So I just put like a stone thing on it, and you can see I can build a whole new base here from this one loot room that's here. And it's really cheap, because the basis is three squares, and then this would be my airlock. This could be like where I have like my working area. Usually I make it a bit bigger, of course, and then honeycomb that. And to get in there would have to go to, like, let's say I make it up to here, 1, 2, 3 doors. Then you see an armored wall, or they have to go through stone or metal and then go to armored. You can see this is a good like little backup. It could be a great second base. Instead of making my base bigger than it already is, instead of like because your upkeep goes higher. Now this is a month server, so every 10 days I have to pay basic, well, it's 70%, so it's even more, like yeah, so like every 10 days I have to pay like 70%. I have this base. It's not just the cost that I paid for building it. I have to, there's an upkeep, there's a tax on it, so the higher the tax, the more I have to pay on it. And there's only so much honeycombing I can do. Like yeah, I did a metal honeycomb on this one, and I could do a stone honeycomb. That was actually what I was working on here. You could see some stone honeycombing here, and I could have like finished that, but I thought I'd rather think like, well, why not just make another loot room here on this side? I mean, they're far away from each other. Rockets don't, whatever you rocket there, it's not gonna hurt anything here. I have, you know, I have more spaces. Like there's a lot of, actually everything, there are garage doors everywhere, so any nook and cranny could have like some goodies in there. So they would have to go through all my garage doors just to make sure that I didn't hide something somewhere. And what is this area here? What's doing there is actually also a loot room. You know, now it's next to this loot room, which makes it less efficient. Well, not actually, because yeah, it's honeycombed, so anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, actually you should space them out. But this, I could use this end of this. I could use it as a loot room because it's far enough away from the other one. So yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's so funny because people think, oh, I have armored walls and it's so strong. But basically, if people, you know already, they're gonna go through. I mean, if you raid yourself, you know, you just go through the doors and boom, you end up at a door. And it's funny that the sides may be armored, so you couldn't take the easy route, like from going through the sides and then going in, because yeah, who wants to go through armored? But then you take the hard route and you go through all the doors and it's still armored, you know. So anyway, yeah, just another way to look at. I have a lot of videos on this design already. I've been using this for a long time. It helps me last until the end of the wipes. Usually I survive mostly like the whole wipe. There were some raid attempts. Obviously I get a lot of raid attempts, but they kind of give up after they see that how much yeah, I have these walls and all this stuff, and it just gets too expensive for them, especially because I'm like a solo build, and it's probably just not worth whatever is in them, you know. So that's another thing. Like the more, I mean, it's 8 C4 to get into a loot room. If the loot room has 6 C4, basically there's a loss of 2 C4. So if you put 20 C4 in a loot room and it's the only loot room in your base, and they raid it with 8 C4 and I'm not, or 12 C4 or 14 C4, because they have to go through the doors and everything, then there's still a profit of like 6 C4 and then whatever stuff is in there. So another thing that you could punish people for, like raiding you, is making it non-profitable. If it's not profitable, if they open up a garage door and they find complete crap, and they open another garage door and they find complete crap, and they open another garage door and they find like maybe one kit that is kind of usable, and they open like another door and there's just enough bullets. I mean, they're gonna think, well, it's gonna be worth going through armored walls. What's in this base that's worth going through 2 armored walls? You know, they already wasted so much on these. You know, you're gonna think like, is it worth it? And then you have to decide, well, am I gonna reward them by putting like 100 C4 in like one of those loot rooms, or am I gonna make another loot room and another loot room and another loot room and put like 25 in each loot room? Or I put, well, you're probably gonna have 100 C4, but you know what I mean. Like, let's say you have, let's say you have 20. You have 20 C4, right? Just throwing it out there. Or you have like 40 rockets or something. Now you could divide them over all your loot rooms, so whenever they take a loot room, you're always getting a net loss. Now they're gonna give up. They're gonna see that, oh, this was not worth it. I mean, I did get a little bit of back. There were like 5 rockets in here, but man, I spent like 15 rockets on this, and I only got 5 rockets back. And then they take, and maybe they're crazy enough to get another loot room, and they're like, oh man, this cost me another like 8 C4, and there was 3 C4 in it, you know, or there's 6 C4 in it, and it cost me 8 C4. That's a loss. So basically, another way to keep them from like completely raiding your base and losing everything is just spreading it out over all these loot rooms and making sure that your protection is always higher, I mean, than the value that's in it. You know what I mean? Now I know that that's going to be hard. Once you get really successful, you're probably you're gonna have, you know, how many to scale that, you know, how are you gonna do? Are you gonna do 10, 20 loot rooms? You know, that's gonna be hard. But then if you do like 10 loot rooms, yeah, anyway, you have to play with that, and it's gonna be very boring when it's when it's night. Okay, so yeah, let me show you one more thing. You can see that a lot of the things that I'm doing, like doors are open. Oh, I didn't walk on that one, did I? Yeah, I have to walk on these things. They're connected to these door openers, and they don't even need electricity. If you don't put electricity in, they just open it and close it, and you just walk over them. And it's so easy, you know. This one opens because of the HBF, and when I die or when I log off, they all just close. So it's really easy. And then here I have a working area. Of course, you don't want to have everything in your Dropbox all the time, so I have a little working area. And then once it gets too much, when I have too much high qual or too much metal or too much of something, like here, like let's say I've learned everything that I can learn on my workbench, kind of. I mean, I could do, like, I don't use these doors, so why would I learn them? So I've learned here everything. So I have some things that I can learn on my level 2. I have a level 2 actually in this loot room. So here I put a little bit of scrap there, maybe together with other scrap I can learn a new thing. Now if they raid me, that scrap is in here. And if I'm smart, I also use it before I go to sleep or before I log off. I will use up and learn something before I do that, so that it doesn't go to waste. Another thing is, just make sure you reach all your goals. Like I gathered a lot of stuff here. It's not that much actually. This is like a little bit of stuff. Now either I can leave this for tomorrow, or I can say, well, I'm just gonna turn this into scrap and high qual. So if I get raided and I already used the scrap for learning, maybe I put the high qual into my walls or whatever. So use up whatever you have, and things that you can put them down, because if you don't put them down, they will take it away. If you put it down, maybe it's going to be useful in some way. Actually, I don't need these things right now, but I'm trying to yeah, find ways to use it. Um, yeah. So you can see I have lots of things on the walls, even some things that I don't need. I have like, I haven't used one switch. I have like 5 or 6 switches on the wall. You see, for just when I case. Oh, here's another. Oh, I didn't. This one's actually useful. I forgot about that one. Um, so yeah, I just put all those things on the wall, and then if I get raided and I get my base survives, you know, they probably cannot take it off the. Here's another drop box from the outside for like wood and stuff, and stone. So yeah, that's kind of how I work. And yeah, what can I say? I know that most builds, when I look on YouTube and stuff, are very different than this one. I know that but it's so easy with the drop box and the sleeping bag. It's really efficient because you have a whole square to fill in with. You can put a TC in, you can put a workbench in, you can put boxes in there, you can fit 2 sleeping bags in there if you're a duo. You have this whole square, and I already know exactly how much it's going to cost. It's like almost nearly 150 of high qual, and it's about 18 high qual day upkeep just to have one of those rooms. And I see other people like building huge bases and bigger, and just it's like the thing is that with honeycombing, it's only as effective as how much doors you can put in. Like let's say to get into this area, either you go through this metal wall or you go through like 1, 2, 3 doors or something, or like maybe a ceiling here, but this is metal. So you can calculate how much it is to get in here, you know. And basically the thing with doors is it's almost the cheapest way. If a base has only doors, it's just calculating how many doors you have to go through to get to a certain point. That's basically it. You know, there's no other. If people don't use a bunker, then or like one of those loot rooms. Yeah, I mean a bunker is like HC4. It's like 4 doors. So all of a suddenly it's like the thing is, for each door to be effective, there needs to be honeycomb. You cannot have a door and no honeycomb. Because now luckily some time ago they decided to make metal twice as strong as stone and armor twice as strong as metal, and they did this on purpose. The designers, they did this because basically people were building huge bases, really big bases, because to have a door be effective, it needs to be honeycombed. And in the beginning, metal was just a little bit stronger than metal, and armor was a little bit stronger than metal. So it wasn't a huge benefit to have metal armor. There was a benefit, but it wasn't huge. So and that's exactly why they made it so that metal is double of stone, because now you going through a stone wall, it's going to cost you twice as much. So basically it's an honeycomb. It's like if you would honeycomb like 2 stone, you have like 1 stone, like a stone wall, and a stony honeycomb going through there is the same as going through metal. And then having like a metal and a metal is the same as going through 1 armored. And like you know what I mean. And then you can also say that going through like 4 stone walls is the same as going through 1 armored wall. So basically you don't need to be honeycomb to make your doors effective, because if your last room is armored and the second one is metal and then the next one is metal and then you have a couple of doors and then at the end you have like a stone one, basically they're forced to go through the doors. The only cheapest way to go is to go through the doors. But there's one thing that you can still do, and that's really as you're a solo player or like duo player, or you don't, it's just efficient to end it with a wall and a drop box. It's so efficient because now you're adding another 3 garage doors through the hole. So maybe it was 3 garage doors. Now, like you say here, it's like 1 garage door, 2, 3, or whatever. Here, this is stone. So they probably will go through stone here right now because they see this is stone. They might think that they want to go there. They go here, stone, 2c4, 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 8c4, and in here. Now, let's do a different way. 2c4, 2c4, yeah, 8c4. It's 12c4. That's a lot more than the other one was, you know. So, and I probably should make this metal because this is because it's still left over from the raid probably. Or no, it's not from the raid. This was my front door. Like 2 days ago, this was my front door, and now I've added this whole area. So I should upgrade this and this to metal really. And then, yeah, then they have to either go. Then they could start here or there, or they would probably now they maybe instead of going through all my doors, maybe they would try to like pick out. Like they probably would use this one. This would be the best probably right now. This location, because yeah, it's just a weak part that I forgot to upgrade. I don't know if I have enough of metal. Yeah. So I actually knew that was there. I didn't just discover that. Like I said, I've been doing other stuff. It was on my to-do list. So now, going through the roof is not the easiest way. But yeah, I mean, raiders can still go through, maybe go through this wall, that wall. They can do all kinds of stuff, of course. But in the end, yeah, if they don't know that they're gonna end up against an armored wall or against something, they will go through your doors, and boom. It's just I don't know why people are. I know that if you're in a clan or whatever, you want this. You want boom. You want to go. You want to open a door, and then you want to do your stuff. Now you can still do that. I would say like have these drop boxes, have these working areas. In the working area, you can have all the boxes that you want, but also have loot rooms where for storage in between when people go. If you go online, put your stuff in the storage, and then have your ready to go sets where you can just go and make sure that during the day, like for everybody in your clan, there is enough sets here, and then fill them up. And at night when you go to sleep or when it was logged off and you only need 1 or 2 sets for the people that are still on, just get rid of some of the like expensive weapons and stuff, put that in a loot box until the next day, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's how I would do it. Like, and to be honest, I haven't played in a big clan for a while. You know, I tried to make a bigger clan, like I had some people I was playing with, but I was building bigger bases for that. But for now, I'm just playing solo. So, but this technique is actually really good for solo players because, I mean, it's your choice, right? If you want to kill yourself and go into your loot room, and just put it back like put it back. Just if the back turns blue, then it's far enough. It won't trigger. They won't trigger each other. So I put it back. Here, let me see if I can make. If there's enough cloth here. Just put it back in a place where. I know there's always a lot of cloth here. Just put it in a place where you can put 1 outside, 2, 3, whatever, depend on how active you are. Of course, there's no cloth right now. There's always so much cloth here. Oh, there's one. It's 5. I know you know the thing. So yeah. Let's plant some seeds here. I'm probably too close. No. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was trying to say, and yeah, so I think this system can work for any kind of level. Actually, you don't need to just be solo, and yeah, I've been using it for a long time, and it usually works. It usually works. It's not often that they decide to go through those walls, and then, like I said, like if you have, the more you have of it, like I said, like now I have like 2 or 3 of those areas. I could have like 6 or 7 or 5. You know, I could put like I could extend this and put like a square there, and I could, like, now I'm boxed in pretty much, but you can make it like a snake where you just go longer and longer and just keep ending up adding rooms at the front of your, like this one. You can see here that I made it pretty long, and this is the snake design, is where yeah, you start off with like the 3 squares, but then you could go this side, you can go this side, go this side, and you keep adding those rooms, and you can add as much rooms as you want. And in between the rooms, I mean, you can even just, you can make like metal here and metal there, but you can even have like stone areas, because basically everything is so far apart, and there's so many doors that yeah, the doors also count, you know, and then you have so much room in between this area. You can put boxes, you can put your stuff, and it's like there's still a lot of area, a lot of space that you can do. And also what you can do is just you make a square area with, like what I did in this base design, where I actually I put a square on the side of it, and that became my working area. Well, it's not even a square, it's like yeah, I put here, this is like an extension of the triangle here, and then I did this here. This is a bit of a working area, you know. So there's lots of yeah, just be creative. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I hope you understand kind of that. I mean, on a level of efficiency, when the cost of building it, the cost of upkeeping it, I think that using these boxes is so much better than just using armored as a way to protect your sides, or protect, or use them as some kind of like honeycomb. You can actually use them as like armored loot boxes, armored loot vaults, and yeah, it's like less than 150 to build one. So if you have like 300 high qual, 600 high qual, you can just build as much as you want. The upkeep is going to go up, but it's not, it's going to be, it's very efficient. It's very efficient because every loot box gives you the guarantee HC4, which normally using an armored wall doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really change the fact that your door is only 2C4. So you can have all the armored walls in your base that you want. If they go through the doors, it's only 2C4 to get in that actual loot room. They're not going to go through the sides. They're not going to go through that armored wall. Now, it will save you honeycombing. That's true. That's true. It's a replacement of honeycombing, but either you can use your high qual and your armored walls as honeycomb replacement, or you can use them as fun, like a way to force them to go through your doors. But is that what you want? Do you want to force people to go through your doors? Do you want to use it as like to use less honeycomb, or do you want to actually use it to protect your loot? And that's what this system is doing. So yeah, I hope I informed you enough. I hope you want to give it a try. Just give it a try. I mean, you can just build one loot box in your base somewhere. Wait until you get raided and just see, are they gonna touch that loot room or not? You know, and who knows? Maybe you will see, like me, that they often don't do it. They don't have the resources ready. They didn't expect that. They calculated your doors. Now, I mean, you can like 1, 2, 3, 4. You can call, oh, this is 12 doors, and then they have enough boom boom for 12 doors, and then they don't have the extra boom boom, or they you know, they don't have it often. especially if they're like new, they have a small base themselves. They just barely got enough boom boom to go to the 10 doors that they expected, and now suddenly it's like almost double, you know. So anyway, I wish you a happy day, lots of love, and yeah, super great day. Bye bye.